Hello, and welcome to the Let's Talk Transformation podcasts. Today's episode is about alignment, leadership, and unlocking your potential. And I am delighted to welcome Hortense le Gentil, executive coach and author of the book Aligned, Connecting Your True Self with the Leader You're Meant to Be. Hortense, welcome to the show.
Susie, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Hortense, you are an executive leadership coach, speaker, and author, but you haven't always been. And I know we were chatting and you feel that everything led you to becoming an executive leadership coach, but you were also a show jumper, you worked in corporate, you're an entrepreneur, you're the CEO of a steel manufacturing country, and you're now on a quest to support CEOs and senior executives on their journey from what you call hero leaders to human leaders, which is a quest we share, and to pay back your learnings. And can we start there? So with your book, Aligned. So for those of you that are watching, I'm holding up Hortense's book. And for those of you that are listening, the book is called Aligned, Connecting Your True Self with the Leader You're Meant to Be. So let's dive into your book. What triggered you to write this book and share your approach to alignment?
Sure. Great question.
So
I really, so back then I was in Paris. So now I'm in New York, but back then I was in Paris. And in Paris, the culture is different from here. And one day, the assistant of one of my clients, talked to me and asked me where she can find something about me, because she wanted to learn from me. And she said, I cannot have you as a coach, and I would love to learn from you. And Susie, I was so ashamed, because at that time I didn't have anything, because in France it's not the culture. The culture is more, you are more private. So I didn't have website. I didn't wrote any article, nothing. So at that moment, I told myself, you should write a book, because that could help other people. I cannot coach a lot of people at the same time, right? I'm just alone. And so I took my courage and I said, let's write a book.
Well, I'm so glad you did, because there's lots of wisdom in that book. And I love the fact that it's also about, multiplying the impact you can have, because as you say, you only have a certain amount of hours in a day and to coach. And I know that was part of the initiative MG100 that you're also part of, around paying it forward and taking this work to leaders and other people. But in your book, you talk about the first time you actually felt alignment, because before we go into further questions, I would really like to understand, alignment. When you were a teenager show jumping, you said it was the first time you felt alignment. Can you tell us what it felt like, and how did you know, Hortense, that you were aligned?
I think alignment for me, it's really, when I was a teenager, and when I was back, when I was riding horses and short jumper, it was that moment when, I was 3 steps before the obstacles with my horse. And I could feel that everything is going to be perfect. And you go there and you feel your horse, doing the 3 steps, and at one moment just jump and do the perfect jump. And there it's, when you're up there, you feel like, this is it. This is it. I walk for that. I walk with my horse. We are both together. We are here. We are in the air. We are free. We are doing exactly what we are supposed to do. And for me, this is exactly what is alignment about. We could take, same example with, for example, a surfer. Same surfer who catch, the perfect wave. You have the same sensation. It's it is this sensation to be free, to fly somewhere and to be, you don't ask yourself any question, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you are there.
And it just seems obvious. It just seems obvious, like you feel you should be there. That's just natural for you. That's
natural. That's normal. You feel in your element, if you could say differently also.
And you describe also alignment around this subject of being in your element as being congruent with who you are, what you feel, what you envision, how you show up in life and in leadership, of course. So we don't necessarily have the time in this connected world to sit down and think about that and question ourselves about that. So how would we know? What are some of the typical symptoms of misalignment, if you like?
Not being aligned look like, I would say, when you feel overreacting to a situation. So we can feel three big symptoms, I guess, I think, or three big clues, but symptoms. Overreacting to reaction, to situations. So you're not supposed to react like that. Why did I react like that? She just said that. Okay, I was not happy, but why did I react like that? Blaming others, I would say, the second
blame
one.
Game.
Oh my goodness. When you blame others, it's always their fault. Okay, it's their fault. It's the fault of my boss. It's the fault of my neighbor. It's the fault of my husband, or my wife, or my kids, or my children, or my whatever it is. Okay, this is a big symptoms. And the other one is also when you feel aggressive. You are aggressive. You feel like, you want to jump to everything. And it's... it's all symptoms of unhappiness, and it's all symptom of an alignment. You are not aligned.
Because we can quite easily, can't we, live in a culture like that? I'm particularly thinking of the workplace, and that can become normalized for you internally as to how you feel when you're there. So I could say to myself that it's just the way I feel when I go to work. So what happens when we normalize it like that? What happens in terms of understanding that we're not in alignment? What type of things could we do to start asking ourselves questions that will provoke this conscious understanding of what we've just described, the symptoms of not being aligned?
Yeah, so I think, as you say, the first thing is to be aware. Most of the time, we're absolutely not aware, or we can feel like you said, this is normal. This is my normal me going to work. But this, if it doesn't feel good for you, if you feel that you are another person when you do go whatever you're doing, this, to me, this is a symptom of disalignment. So I think the first thing would be aware of it. Be careful how you feel and things like that. Sometimes, of course, we have to push a little ourselves, But I think the important thing is you need to be the same person. So at home with your friends, at work, wherever you go, you do. It's very important because we cannot change personality. I know that before, I like to say in the old days, we were taught to close the door from home and open the door when you go at work, and you're not the same person. You are not supposed to be the same person. I don't believe in that. Because I don't believe that half of myself stay at home this morning, and now I am with you and I'm a different person. I don't believe in that because for me, it's not true. It's not being true to yourself. So it's not to be true with other people. And if something happened at home, so I'm going to share something very personal, but I think it's a good example. Before the show this morning, I receive a call from my mom. My dad is not doing well, and he's in France. So of course, I am as usual, but maybe I am a little, so sorry if you feel that I am a little, slower or whatever. Let's concentrate. But see, just the fact me to tell you, I feel better. So now and it's life. So it's like that. And but I cannot separate that. It was happening. It happened this morning. So and it's different. So this is what being aligned is about. Is being your true self. And you don't have to hide from anything. Because it's part of yourself. It's part of your life. It's part of yourself, part of everything.
And I think it's quite easy to say, and of course I work a lot in sort of the inclusive and DEI world, where we talk about bringing our best selves to work and being ourselves at work. And it's quite easy to say, and as you say, it's quite hard to do internally as well. And it brings me to some of the journey steps you describe in your book around the alignment process, around the need for unlearning and relearning, and also accepting failure. And you give us some valuable lessons learned here that you learned from your sporting career, but not only. Can you explain a little bit more to our listeners how failing can help us align with ourselves, so internally, but also externally?
Failure for me is a gift. It's bizarre to say that, but this is really a gift.
Yeah, but I like that lens. Failure is a gift. Okay, I like
it. It's a gift. It's a gift. And I'm going to tell you why. Because each time, for two reasons. When you fail, it's because you're going to learn something. So it's good news. Something good is going to happen. So maybe it's difficult at that moment, but you need it. It's part of your evolution. We don't know that at that moment, and it's hard sometimes, and very often it's hard. But thinking like that, say, okay, so what do I have to learn from this failure? What happened? What lessons do I take from that? The first thing. And the second thing is also good news. It's because if you fail, it's because you took risk.
Yep.
So if you take risk as a leader, as a person, if you take risk, it's because you evolve. Yep. And because you innovate, and because you want to adapt yourself, and because something new is happening, and you are not afraid, and you do it, and you try. And if you fail, it's good. When I was back to my time with horse riding, one say that you have to fail one at a time before being a very good horse rider. 100 times. So each time you fail, you say, oh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not yet a good writer, but this is true. This is what we say. So same in life, same for leadership. So if as a leader, you always, stay at the same stage, you don't want to take risks. You say, oh, no, that I know that it works. By the past, it worked. So now I'm going to stay like that. It's not going to work. No. Especially today with, this uncertainty.
Yeah, I was going to say it's fluid, isn't it? It's always evolving, even though our brains like certainty. The world, particularly today, as you say, is always evolving. But this reframe, this power to reframe, and it brings me to another of the steps around the power of positive emotions and emotional contagion, and the use of mirror neurons to and you dedicate a whole chapter to it around leaders accepting responsibility for their own failures, but also constantly reframing into a more positive perspective. And that's one example of it. Can you tell us a little bit more around why that's so important for effective leadership, this positive reframe?
Because I think two things. The first thing is our brain is wired to see always what doesn't work. But it doesn't help, because what going with that is you feel drained, you feel sad, you're going to do anything. So you need positive energy. And you need positive energy to refuel yourself, to give you energy, to give you the power that you need as a leader. So it's really something like, also another thing is if you to be positive, you just have to ask you a question. Can I do anything about it? focus on what you can change. So if you are angry because, I don't know, because of something happened, the government, for example, did something you're not unhappy with, whatever it is, can you do anything about it? The answer is no.
Yeah.
So why would you give, time, energy for that purpose? And you need your energy to, as a leader, as a person, to do something impactful where you can have impact. So recenter yourself always, realign yourself always with those positive emotions.
And I like the idea of realigning oneself positively, because it brings me to another topic and big, I think, step on this journey around self-limiting beliefs. And I was going to say removing. I'm not sure one can ever remove self-limiting beliefs, but reframing self-limiting beliefs and patterns and what become essentially mind traps. Can you tell us a little bit about how this shows up for people and what advice you would give them to realign this part of the way they talk to themselves? Because it is really about our inner voice, isn't it? In terms of what we're saying to ourselves and the belief systems that have been created and that we perpetuate or that we are creating.
Exactly. So mind traps is really this mental obstacle that is between you and between the leader you're meant to be, or between you and the best version of yourself, or the person you want to be. So this is very simple. It's all about the mental. It's all about the story that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
It's all about that. It's all about that. And it's all about, am I writing my story or another story? And it's all about that. And it's all about, asking you this question. Okay, is it, you imagine you are a movie maker. You are writing or doing a movie. So are you in your own movie, or are you in the movie of somebody else? Are you the main character of your movie, or are you a second, third, fourth character of your movie? You need to be, the hero of your movie because you need to be the main character. So mind traps is really that, is really to define, to see where it's coming from. One way to go is to ask yourself, is it my voice? Is it me? Is it my story? Is it really what I want to do? And if not, it's all about rethinking and say, okay, what do I want to do? For example, I always, very often, I take, the example of if you come from a family, a doctor family, for example, and you are not a doctor, or imagine you are a doctor, or you did some, you went to school and tried to study, to be a doctor. And one day you just realize that this is not what you want to do. And this happened to plenty of my friends, by the way. So in the middle of, when they were studying, they said, I don't know why I'm doing that, just to please my family. In fact, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to make a difference, but differently. I want to be, an attorney.
Yes. Okay.
And why don't you don't do that? Why don't you do that? You have to give you the permission to do it. So you need courage to do that, because you need to change your mindset. You need a shift to shift, the mindset, and think differently and say, okay, and face the truth. The truth is, I did that to please someone, or because I thought it was the right way to go. But in fact, it's not me. So again, you're not aligned. And believe me, if you do something when you're not aligned, it is not going to work. I'm sorry to say.
However much you force it.
Yeah. You can force it, but for a while. And anyway, something is going to happen to make you again understand that, hey, wake up. It's not for you. It's just time to be you.
And it's really, I'm hearing around listening to your, what I call your inner wisdom. So, valuing your intuition and actually giving your intuition an opportunity to speak, which of course, normally we fill our lives so full that we don't have the time, or don't make the time, should I say, to listen to our own intuition. And I found, it's funny, the doctor's family, that's my case. So I come from my parents are doctors, and none of me or my sisters are doctors. And I wanted to be a doctor when I was younger, and I didn't, for lots of reasons. And one of the exercises in your book, where you invite us to think about peripheral questions to find our purpose, as opposed to direct questions to find our purpose. And I love that exercise of, think about what you wanted to be when you were younger. So a doctor. And then think about what you do today. So a leadership coach. And essentially, yes, my passion and purpose is the same. It's people. And as you said, maybe you want to make a difference, differently. And so I still want to help people grow, to unlock their potential, to support them in that, etc. And that was so powerful for me, that peripheral activity. And it can bring something. I didn't realize I was realigning myself, should I say. And now when I take a step back, that's exactly what I was doing. So why should we value our intuition so much, and how can we do that, Hortense, in our daily lives when it's busy and we're stuck in this mind trap? Let's put it that way, because often we are in a sort of system of mind traps as we go through work, even if we like what we do.
Sure, you're right. I like to quote Einstein. Einstein refer to the intuitive mind as a gift.
Yeah.
And the rational mind as the faithful servant.
Yeah.
And he said that we created a world where, to honor, the servant, and we forgot our gift. And this is so true.
It is so true. Yeah.
We forgot our gift. And why? Because our education, so the world that we created, is all about rationality. I don't say that we don't need it. I just say we need both. That's all. But we didn't create anything, to listen to this intuition, to authorize ourselves, to listen to that and to trust our intuition. For example, if you ask a question to a child, the child is going to give you right away the answer. If you ask, whatever it is. If I ask you the question, for example, what is your preference, or what do you how do you say that? Your beach, your favorite beach. I was looking for your favorite beach. So if I tell you, you don't think, you just tell me, give me the answer. You're going to give me an answer.
Yes.
But if I tell you, I don't add that, and I say, what is your favorite beach? You begin to think, okay, I've been there. So I don't know. So maybe I have 2 or 3. So your rational, mind is taking over. If you do the same with a child, and you know that in France, we will always say, the truth comes from the mouth of a child, right? Right. So you want to know the truth, ask them. They're going to tell you right away, because they feel, they don't have filter, that filter, and they are not educated yet on the rational one. So they still have balance.
Yes.
And of course, they have to learn rationally, but also they keep their intuitive, impulsive, one. And this is all what it is about. And how you can do that, I think the first thing is to stop and take time to avoid other noise, to free your head from other noise. So the other voices, what people say, even the voices in your environment, and take time to be at the present moment and to feel your emotions. So how do I do today? How do I feel? And the exercise is easy. You can meditate, but even if you don't meditate, it's fine. It's just being at the present moment. So one of my clients, for example, is doing very often, at least once a day, is taking a pause, 10 minutes, having a coffee. He close the door, he look by the window, he have his coffee, and he's listening to his favorite song.
Okay.
So it takes 5 minutes, something like that, 5 to 10 minutes. He do that, and he try to just keep his mind there. So it has to be, a music or with lyrics, so you can follow. Can follow the lyric. And so you empty that way. What you do is you empty, your left brain. You empty that mind. You close the door and you open the door the other way, the other brain. And at the same time, you refuel yourself. You don't think about anything, and you go back. So having this, creating a routine, a daily routine where you can be with yourself is very, very important. And this is a way you will be able to listen to your intuition.
Okay.
Because you will learn how to do that.
And I think if I come back to the idea of master and slave, or right and left, or whatever, the intuitive, the gift, let's call it the gift that we've forgotten.
Yes.
You also use a lot of exercises around metaphors and how they can also help people to step into this place. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you use metaphors in your work and the power of the metaphor?
The power of a metaphor is it's exactly the same subject. It's, if I tell you there is many ways to skin a cat.
Yep.
You're going to laugh, and you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Right away. So it's all about stories. You communicate with people by stories. So if you give stories, if you give a tale, if you give even a fable to people, they are, so again, you switch, because it's a way to go to your inconscious, to go to talk to your unconscious. And so Erickson was a master of doing that. And this is really that. And you open the door to your unconscious. So you open the door to your gift, and you find answer better, and you connect better with people. Because if I do that, you can picture. You have a picture. Okay, I get your point. This is what you want to do. I can explain 1 hour, during 1 hour, and having, long conversation, long sentences, very complicated word. But if I just tell you right away, okay, different way to skin the cat. Okay, so you got the point. You laugh, so you have energy, and you are with me. You want to listen.
Yes.
So this is why metaphor is very important. It's a way to escape from the rational mind, if you want.
Yeah, and stepping out of your mind trap, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which brings me back to the idea of power and force. So that trying to figure things out, trying to force things through a system, that's my link. And you talk a lot about what I'm going to call the power and force paradox. in your book in various places. And I would love it if you could walk our listeners through what that's about, the power vs force. And, you know, we touched on it before with your horse as to whether you force your horse over a jump aggressively or whether you try and take your horse with you over a jump. So it'd be great if you could walk us through that process and what it brings to the lens of alignment.
So I would say that the difference between power and force, is if you take David, so because everything began with David Hawkins, and he said, so he ranked emotion based on how they impact our life and our power. And effective leadership radiates power and does not rely on force.
Yeah.
It's exactly like, back to my time with my horse. A horse, you know, is a 500-kilo animal. So if you are 50 kilo yourself, you can try.
Quite a big difference.
Yeah, you can try. But who is going to win? Yes. So of course you can try, and you know, and some people do that. So you have the horse. You can imagine, even if you don't ride horses, you have a horse, and you want to go to a direction. So you turn your hand, and either you go all together. So all about trust, communication, like leadership. So if people, you know, follow you because they trust you, they are with you, they know why they go there. So they're going to turn correctly. So, you know, the horse is going to turn nicely, correctly, and is going to go where you want to go. It's going to understand you also. You can exactly do the same by not connecting with him, but force him. So you can imagine yourself, you know, taking the rein, opening your hand, but pulling. What's going to happen? Your poor horse is going to be here, irritated, and you know, is going to be suffering, painful. So it's going to do it because it's helpful, but not with his heart, and not the same way. They will not have any harmony between you and within your horse. Everything is going to be about force. And this is the difference between force and power. Where do you think you're going to be far? You're going to be far. Do you think using the force? At one point, your horse will say, stop it now, right? Because he doesn't want, because again, the heart is not there. And the other way, you can go far because you are together, because you trust, because you know, you go together on this journey or on this road. And it's really, I like this metaphor because it's exactly what happened as a leader. Either I as a leader, you can, you know, create this trust, this harmony with your team, or you cannot, you force them. So it's all about, you know, the command and control. So it's going to happen also, but you are not going to have the same result, for sure. So again, come back to your alignment, where your power is there.
And so just to build on that, because that's the power of us aligning with ourselves internally. If I look at collective alignment, so aligning externally with the rest of my systems with which I work and interact, you know, essentially listening to all the voices in the system is my understanding of collective alignment. Can you tell us more about how you nurture, well, what collective alignment is for you and how you can nurture it so that you can create the conditions for your team and yourself to navigate today's world, which, as we said, is uncertain and quite complex?
Leadership for me has to come from the inside out.
Yeah, totally agree.
And so what we are talking about now is what I call the alignment of alignments with the S. Why? Because because, okay, so as a leader, and your leadership is from the inside. So you begin by yourself. You begin at the beginning, and it's yourself. So think about your alignment, how you want to show up as a leader, what your values are, what matters to you, and how you want to be remembered. Okay, this is you, this is yourself, this is your alignment, and this is your work. When you are clear on that, you communicate that. Second step, you think about how you can align your values, who you are, with the purpose of the company. Second step. So you're clear on that. When you're clear on that, you communicate that, because if you align, it is true, right? It is true. It is yourself. So you communicate that to your team members, board meeting, whatever. So the people with who you work. And so you do it, and all together with all the company after, because you ask them to do the same under. It's a cascade. So from the board member, to the line, to the sorry,
to the front line workers.
The front line, thank you. To the front line workers, they have to know what the direction is. So because you are, as a leader, you are captain of this boat. So okay, so captain of this boat, you communicate, you are clear on your alignment, where you go. You communicate the vision. This is where we want to go. You have your crew. Your crew is your teams. Everyone knows that is important. His work, her work is very important. This is what he should do, what he have to do. The way it's going to do, it's free. But it's all together that we are going to create and to go there and to navigate north. And especially today, because today, so we imagine that first, we don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answer today. That's not possible. No. You wake up in the morning, you don't know what's going to come next. So, okay, so we are in transition. The world is transitioning. Leadership is transitioning also. So you are navigate, and you are in the middle of the ocean. And in the ocean could be very calm. It could be also,
or not,
in 5 minutes, 5 minutes, a storm is coming, or big waves, whatever. So it's very, very, more than ever, very important that everyone feels included in this boat and knows where to go with the captain. But the captain doesn't have to give orders. He just have to tell, okay, this is where we have to go. Of course, he has to take decision, but be clear of who takes the decision and what is doing what, and participate. Everyone has to have a voice at the table. Everyone. And this is how you do the cascade, because you become, as a leader, more of a coach. Than command and control. Your role is evolving. So this is what you begin to do, and so each one has to do the same with their team. It's a different leadership. You listen more, you talk less.
Yeah. That sounds simple, and I suppose when you say it is simple, but I'm hearing, there are. So the gifts of alignment, if you like, that alignment itself is a gift, the gift of failure and the gift of intuition. So how do we protect those gifts as leaders as we move into, let's say, water that is more choppy and more stormy, and where we are going to go back to our reflexes? How do we protect the gifts of alignment?
When you are clear on your gift, what I would recommend is to do your daily practice. So you write down what is important for you, what you want to work on, and what, really your values are and everything. You write that down very clearly. You try to write your, let's say, your purpose in one sentence, 2 sentences, whatever. But it has to be very clear on you. And you create this daily routine. I like to say it, your daily rendezvous.
Yeah.
It's a rendezvous with yourself.
So an important one.
Exactly. So you're gonna go to see yourself. So yeah, you have a very, very important meeting. It's with yourself. And I don't joke. It's very important because we understand our brain, had 100 billion of connection. And so we're used to do or to act that way. If you want to change behavior or mindset, this is another connection. So it's okay. We are aware of it. Here we go. We are aware of it. I decide to change. Perfect. But it's like a muscle, a new muscle that you're working on. So you have to work every day. Every day you check. In your meeting, you check, okay, how did I do there? Did I stay true to my commitment? Did I stay true to me? No. Okay, don't blame yourself. It's fine. But you just realize that, oh no, I didn't do it. So you just decide at that moment during your routine that you're going to do differently tonight or tomorrow. I do it, for example, every morning. Every morning I do my yoga, I do my meditation, and I do, my daily check-in. Say, okay, how I want to show up aujourd'hui, today, and how what I'm going to do. And at night, I do the same. In 5 minutes, say, what did I do? Okay. And if I didn't do as well as I wanted, I didn't blame myself because anyway, it's done. And we learn. So maybe I failed. Yes, maybe I failed. Okay, I could do better. Okay, tomorrow I will do better. That's all. But you realign yourself.
So that's the gift from today.
This is a gift from today. Exactly. See, we have plenty of gifts and we are not aware of it. That's amazing, in fact.
But I like the idea of having a meeting with yourself because, our longest lasting relationship is the one we have with ourselves, isn't it? And often that's the one that comes last. So I'm hearing the practice of, I'm going to call it alignment discipline. So, this developmental habit, practice of checking in with myself at the beginning and the end of the day, particularly when I'm feeling too tired or too busy.
Particularly, exactly. This is when we need the more that we don't do it. This is exactly that. And you know what Buddhists are saying? They say, oh, you are very busy, overrunning, running everywhere. Good. It's time to open a book and to read 2 pages. Can you? And you get the point. Yeah. Because exactly, try to do it and you will see. You will see it will make a difference. You will do exactly this. No, you will do more in a better way.
Yeah. It's a different gift, isn't it? It's the gift of space.
It's a gift of space. Exactly.
Yeah. Time is running, but I would like to ask you one last question. If you have any sort of call to action, we've been through a lot. We've been through lots of different steps on the alignment journey. And they sound simple. And there are lots of very helpful reflection questions in your book as to how to make that real for people. But if you had a sort of last message or call to action for our listeners around aligning themselves or realigning themselves in terms of their leadership, what would it be?
I would say be yourself. Everyone is already taken.
My favorite quote.
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Me too.
But it's true. It's true.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
It was true. So thank you, Oscar.
Yes. Yeah. Oscar Wilde set the forefront for your book Aligned. I like that. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, Hortense, thank you so much for coming and sharing your your thoughts, your stories, your experience, and what's in your book. Where can our listeners find out more about you, your work, and what you do?
So you can follow me on LinkedIn, of course, Instagram and LinkedIn, but mostly LinkedIn. And I have a website. So on my website, so hlgconsultinggroup.com, I guess, or consulting.com. Or my name, hortenseLeGentil.com. So both of them, you can go there.
Okay.
And I have an upcoming book in September 26th. It will be released in September 26th. So there will be more to come about alignment.
I'm glad about that. And I'm going to invite our leaders to read Aligned anyway, to get, to find out more about them and how they align themselves. Can you give us a sneak peek into what's in your second book, or should we watch this space?
Well, just quickly, but the title of the book is The Unlocked Leader.
Super. Okay.
And it's Dare to Free Your Own Voice. We talk about that. Lead with empathy and shine your light in the world. And it's all about defining your mind traps and free yourself from your mind traps to be the best version of yourself.
Excellent. And it's out in September. So I'm going to leave our listeners with the call to action for alignment. And then when your second book comes out, they can deepen their understanding and free their voice. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Susie. It was absolutely wonderful to talk to you today.
Likewise. Thanks for a great conversation. Thanks.